with the author of Where We Go From Here, 2 Years in the Resistance, Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, has the resistance made some difference in the bipartisan nature of the Senate? Because you guys actually got something done this week in a bipartisan way. 67 senators voted to curtail the power of the United States to help the Saudis in their war in Yemen.
Exactly.
How did that come about? And is it brushback to Trump, or is it an accusation against Mohammed bin Salman?
Yeah, it is a combination. Look, and again, you know, we talk about climate change not being discussed enough in the media. I would say Yemen is another area that we do not discuss. I don't know how many people know that as a result of the Saudi-led intervention in Yemen's civil war 3 years ago, 85,000 children, Stephen, have already died of starvation. 85,000. And what the UN tells us is that imminent starvation for millions is on the horizon unless we act very decisively. So what I, working with a conservative senator from Utah, Mike Lee, and a few other senators, what we said is, using the War Powers Act successfully, I think for the first time, what we said is the United States should not be part of this Saudi-led intervention in Yemen, which is causing the worst humanitarian crisis on the planet right now. We have got to get out, and instead of helping them drop bombs, we have got to bring peace to that region and provide the humanitarian aid that that country desperately needs.
Bush's funeral was this week. H.W. Bush's funeral was this week. You did not agree on a lot, I'm assuming.
Right.
How quickly would you take him back over Trump?
Look, first of all, let's not forget when we talk about H.W. Bush. He was a war hero. You know, he was in a plane that was shot down during World War II. Several of the people, as I recall, who were with him on that plane actually died. So this is a man who was prepared and almost gave his life for love of country. And he and Barbara Bush clearly loved this country. I had the opportunity, my wife Jane and I, when I first got elected to Congress, they invited us to the White House. They were so very nice. Look, so the answer is yes, of course I disagreed with him. But he was an honest man. He was a decent man. He loved his country very much. And, you know, we wish that we could have a president who was honest back in the White House again.
So, we got to go here in just a minute, but I just want to point out that former staffers of yours have launched Organizing for Bernie this week. So I know you're going to answer the question, so I'm not going to ask you if you're running in 2020. So don't make me ask it, just tell me. Are you running in 2020, or are they wasting their time? Should we tell them right now just they're wasting their time to organize for you?
Why did I think you would ask me that question? And the answer is, look, when you run for president of the United States, especially in this ugly political world that we live in right now, it is a very difficult decision for one's family. And what I am looking at very hard right now is trying to, see, and there's some really good people out there, many of them personal friends of mine, who are thinking about running as well. And I'm trying to ascertain, quite honestly, going beyond ego, A, which candidate has the best chance to beat Trump, and B, which candidate's ideas can most turn this country around so that we have a government that works for all of us and not just the people on top. That's what I'm really looking at right now.
What do you think of... What do you think of Beto O'Rourke? People are talking about him.
I think he ran a very, very good grassroots campaign in Texas. I think Elizabeth Warren is a wonderful, good, dear friend of mine. You know, and there are a number of others. Cory Booker is a good friend of mine. There are you know, we work together on many, many issues. And so it is, you know, one has got to try to be objective, not subjective, and say, okay, do I think I can be the best candidate in helping to turn the country around, helping to defeat Trump? That's kind of where we are right now.
Okay, so you're running. His new book.
And you will be my vice presidential candidate.
There you go.
What do you do?
His new book, Where We Go From Here, is out now. Senator Bernie Sanders, everybody. We'll be right back.